Swatiro, I know I strayed from the script. This was my father's favorite hymn. So inkomo to all of you for singing it with me. I think protocol has been observed. I've been mandated by my siblings, appropriately so. So Tebo, Basi, Mori, Filwe, Lisedi, along with the grandchildren, 2 of whom are here, have asked me to speak on their behalf. Over the past 2 days, we've had opportunity to reflect on the life of a most remarkable man, one who gave so much to the world. We've been comforted and inspired by the tributes from different voices, and for that we're grateful. In my grief, it is so hard to accept that I'll never hold my daddy's hand again. I'll never see his smile or hear his voice. But I do accept that indeed God's will has been done. God, in his enduring mercy, has allowed Papa to rest. And the Bible teaches us that in all things we must give thanks. So my heart today is focused on gratitude. I give thanks for Papa's life. I give thanks for the privilege of having such a remarkable man, such a magnificent soul to call my dad. And I was reflecting on one of the things I'm most grateful for. And there are a few I'd like to share with you today. The first is that my siblings and I were blessed with a present father. Now, I'm not sure how you managed to still be present when you did so much and touched so many lives. But somehow you managed to be present in our lives. He indeed cultivated relationships with each and every one of us that evolved as we got to know him, as we grew into adulthood. And for that I'm grateful. We never ever doubted that our dad loved us dearly. He cared for us in the most magnificent way. Lisedi, the youngest of my siblings, was telling me recently how she always knew that even if she didn't see him that often, she always knew that he cared so deeply for her. And like many of us, she admired him and actually wanted to be like him when she grew up. It's a well-known story that I also wanted to be like Papa when I grew up. I wanted to be an attorney and I got sidetracked by the accounting profession somewhere along the way. But the good news is Papa did produce 2 admitted attorneys, and he said he's well on her way to be the 3rd. So out of 6 siblings, he didn't do so bad. I'm so grateful for the presents. Thank you. I'm grateful for the presents, the gifts that Papa gave us. Many of them material. So Papa Dikgang was talking earlier on about how Papa started his journey with Mama at a coal yard. It would not be an exaggeration to say that he made it his business to ensure that none of us experience that ever again. Our material conditions are far away from that coal yard, and it is all because of his contribution and his generous nature. Papa valued education. He made sure that all of his children were educated, just as much as he inspired and facilitated the education of many other people that were not necessarily his children. He was most proud of our academic achievements, and he encouraged us to do more. In fact, on Christmas Day last year, Tsakani spoke about how he insisted we must celebrate. Little did we know this would be our last Christmas with him. And the man beamed when he had all of his family with him. But one message I'll remember from that day, he lamented that there was yet to be a doctorate degree from his children. Now, Philo, we didn't tell you this because you were away in the UK at the time, but we caucused, and by unanimous vote, we designated you to achieve this elusive doctorate. Papa's love for literature and for reading generally is well known. I think Papa Tsakani spoke about that. And he had a passion for the classics, and it's a passion he shared with Rufile. Okay, so you've picked up she's the nerd of the family, right? I'm therefore very pleased, Phile, that in the last week of Papa's life, you had a chance to read to him. And she chose to read some chapters from a book I don't think I will ever read. It's called The Brothers Karamazov. Yeah. So only Rufile could have managed this, right? Another gift that I hold very dear to my heart is that Papa gave us the freedom to pursue our passions. Because of the platform he set, we actually can do the things we kind of want to do. He encouraged us, he inspired us, but he gave us space to do what we wanted to do. Now, Molly, I know he didn't let you study sound engineering, because I think in his mind he was like, you want to be a DJ? No. But for the rest, he really did allow us to pursue our passions. Another gift is the gift of family. My siblings are my best friends, and that's a gift that I will walk with for the entirety of my days. But we also have the blessing of broader, immediate, and extended family. Some of the family members are not blood relatives, but they're also people that Papa handpicked for us, parents that he handpicked for us carefully over the years. So we count amongst what he used to call the friendly families, the Ngwes, who were very close to Mama and Papa and still are. In fact, when I married my husband, I said to him, hang out the Ratsela, and you don't know what to do with me. Go to the Ngwes, they'll sort me out. He hasn't been there, so I'm all right. But we do count amongst the many friends that we hold dear. The Mosenegas, the Siritis, the Mujapilus, the Manganis, the Tikholes, the late Uncle Tafti, Uncle Mike Mulligan, I think is here as well. And those are gifts that if one doesn't actually pause and reflect on, you could actually miss. And that was something that Papa cultivated for us to benefit from. For all of us, Papa modeled a good husband. He loved his wife. Papa loved my mother so much, he was protective of her. One of the things he always said to me is, Tsaki, look after Mama. Even when he was sick, the first thing he would ask me, how's Mama? And I would always have to reassure him, no, she's fine, we're looking after her. Naledi and I are sleeping at home, so she's not alone. Because he cared for her right from the beginning. As much as he cared for her in the days of the Red Volvo, he still cared for her at the very end. Many years ago, we were looking at a family album, Papa and I came across a picture of me as a baby, and Mama's holding me up. So I'm looking at this cute baby in Mama's arms, and I'm hoping that's the focus of the picture. So I said, oh, Papa, what a lovely picture. Papa says, oh, my young wife. I'm also grateful that together with Mama, Papa built us a home. A home that has been a sanctuary for us, whether it was a place to celebrate our achievements or a place to run to when we sought refuge as the storms of life would rage on occasion. And that's something I hold very, very dear. He gifted us with the understanding of the value and dignity of hard work. When we were in high school, or junior school, I started working the tills at the spa you've heard about, at the age of 9. That was long before labor relations changed with the dawn of democracy. And I remember, so this happened every holiday, so you come from boarding school on a Friday, Monday morning you're off to the shop, and that's it until you've got to come back to school. And one particular holiday, Papa said, okay, so when are we leaving, Monday or Sunday? And I was like, hey, Papa, can't I just stay for a week? This is why? I said, because I'm tired. It's been a tough term. He's like, tired? My girl, you will rest when you're 6 feet under. Life is about hard work. So I'm glad that Papa gets to rest now. Fila jokes about how Papa would work every day, Monday to Monday. Through Sundays, he would work. He would work from can't see to can't see, meaning he would leave very early before you see him and come back long after you've gone to bed, after it's dark. And that was my dad. Something that we haven't spoken much about is the fact that Papa was a fitness fanatic. He would run, he would cycle. Towards the very end, he couldn't run anymore or walk even much, but he still lifted weights. The day after he'd come out of hospital, he'd be in his gym for 2 hours. And I think he taught us the importance of prioritizing health in our lives, whether it was just about looking after our fitness, but also the way we ate. I'm sure you would remember that Papa would eat fruit and vegetables all the time. The judges would know he'd come with his little scaftine full of fruit to the court. And he'd always say, look, have some, it won't harm you, So always remember that. The running, you'll be happy to know, did rub off. There was a particular year where at the Two Oceans Marathon, Papa had 4 daughters running that race. I'm not sure how many people can brag about that, right? You can imagine how proud he was. He talked about this for weeks. Tsakani talks about how Papa would always encourage us to do the things we wanted to do. And he would encourage her. She went on to run 10 Comrades marathons, and he was so proud. Every June, every time that marathon was on, Papa was on tentacles, and he would chase the TV and make sure that Tsakani was tracking well and check how she's doing. And when Basi did the same thing, he was similarly concerned and just as proud. Papa leaves us a solid legacy, one that is characterized by a strong sense of responsibility. Responsibility for family and for society more broadly. And I think the many tributes that have come through indicate how he lived his life and how I know we aspire to live our lives. People often ask me, why do I choose to serve in the public service? Why do I choose to be the Deputy Auditor General in this country when I could be doing other things? People say, it must be such a hard job, thankless often. And I often attribute it to an overdeveloped sense of responsibility. Thanks to my dad. I hold dear the importance and the responsibility that comes with the privilege that Papa has bestowed on me. I know that life has to be about much more than material wealth or even personal success. It's got to be about the influence that one is able to bring to bear in making other people's lives better. And I thank my dad for that. I asked one of the grandchildren recently how they're going to remember him. And she said, oh, it was MALULEKE. She said, oh, I'm going to remember his smile, because he was always smiling. Now, did my dad have a gorgeous smile that we'll always remember? I'll remember a dignified, worldly figure that changed the legal fraternity, that contributed to the lives of many individuals across different spheres, that gave much to society, a soul that indeed belonged to the world. Papa always reminded me, he said, my girl, you have one life to live. You've got to make the best shot of it. He lived it well. He's put so much into each of us that he leaves this earth owing us absolutely nothing. I think we instead owe him a great deal. In that regard, we dare not fail him. We've got to uphold the values that he's taught us. We've got to remember the gifts that he's bestowed on us. We've got to pay it forward and contribute to an even better world. He leaves us with family and friends, as I've spoken about. But he also leaves us with cherished memories, with valuable lessons and a strong set of values. I know that he's at peace and that he will enjoy his well-earned rest. Rest in peace, Papa. Etlela ikurula. Itasala imitsutsuk masiku hinkwawo. Wena n'wanati, etlela ikurula. Xitukulwana xa van'wanati ni vangwena. Njiwa bangu. Inkomu swinene. Swi tirhekile, Papa. Etlela ikurula.
Thank you very much, Tsakani, for that moving tribute to your father, a father who was present in your lives. If you wanted to make my brother happy, you just started a conversation about any of his children. One day, during the Two Oceans Marathon, I don't think it is that one, it's a recent one. And Basi was running, so I called him and said, I believe Basi is in the race and I'm watching. He said, Tempo is also there. Tempo is also there. So I said, there's an app that we can use to track them. And then he tried the app. He said, just come here and show me how that thing works. So I had to drive across and sit with him, and we tracked and watched his daughter's run. He was very, very proud of his children. And it's quite something, because half the problems, the social problems we have in our societies and in this country relate to fathers.
Yeah.
In one way or the other, and it is quite refreshing to hear a daughter speak